What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It is time for another special edition of the Top 10, which is extended to the Top 20 countdown for Linkin Park songs. Now, I was working on this video for a while. I started it right after their most recent album, One More Light, came out, but unfortunately we found out that the lead singer Chester Bennington passed away due to hanging himself, and it was something that if you saw on my second channel, Beyond ARTV, I definitely took it hard. And it's something that is still impacting me, but I'm learning to look at it as kind of just like he left something behind. He leaves a legacy and he leaves something to be remembered, and that is his music, his poetry, his pain, his scars worn on the outside for us to consume. And for somebody to be so bold as to put themselves out there like that, and some people will sure dismiss it as cheesy, and like I said in the past, I understand people's criticisms of the band, but I do think that there are deeper things to look at, and honestly, these songs, and most of them on this list today, are ones that helped shape me in some way or meant a ton to me, or just transformed how I thought about something about the band. So as we go through this countdown today, keep in mind that this is my personal top 20. This is not the definitive ranking because there is no such thing unless you're ranking it based on which ones were the most popular or something like that, like Watch Mojo does. No, this is my top 20, and I would love to hear your opinions. Maybe leave your top 5, top 10, or if you really want to go for it, leave your top 20 in the comment section down below. Please leave a like on the video, pay your respects to Chester. We all miss you, Chester, and I know your family and friends in band do as well. And this is my top 20.
Hold on, the weight of the world will give you the strength to go.
I'm gonna try and keep it brief as I go through these descriptions of the songs since there are 20 of them, but coming in at number 20 we have Robot Boy from 1000 Suns. This was a song that I absolutely hated along with the rest of 1000 Suns whenever it dropped because I was a naive little 18-year-old that just couldn't handle change. That's as simple as I can sum it up right there. I was brainless, I didn't pay attention to the material at all, I didn't even give it a chance, and I do hate that, but I can rest easy in the fact that I came around and did a 180 on this album. In fact, if you saw my every Linkin Park album ranked worst to best, you saw that this landed near the top of the charts. I highly recommend checking out that video. Now, as far as Robot Boy goes, I think what drew me to this, and really as I started to kind of have a magnetic feel with the rest of the album, just bring me back over and over again, I think Robot Boy was that because it had those vocals from Chester on it. It has an electronic glow about it, and it starts off small. You say you're not going to fight because no one will fight for you. But he goes on to give this message of hope, saying, you know, you're gonna have that push, you know, just go. It's gonna give you the strength to do that. And I think that there's this big swell in the music with the synthesizers and everything else, the drums that are pitter-pattered in there as well. It all makes this song worthwhile and huge and a definite favorite for me.
Someone pour it in, make it a dirt dance floor again. Say a prayer and stop it out when they bring that chorus in. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away.
I'm gonna try as hard as I can not to make the majority of this video or the majority of the songs tie into Chester's death in some way, because these songs were all important to me before that. And with Bleed It Out, there's a definite line on there, find a new place to hang this noose, that I know a lot of fans are having a hard time with. I say try and minimalize that, don't look into that for something that it's just not, and I am really taking it for what it is, and it was an awesome song to begin with, and obviously it's still making my top 20 here today. Bleed It Out is a song that came out as one of the first singles from Minutes to Midnight, an ever-changing record for Linkin Park, something that saw them diversifying their sound, and I completely understand why. At the time I didn't, but I still loved this one, even if I wasn't that keen on Shadow of the Day and leave out all the rest. Some of the other tracks on the record at the time of its release. This moment here sees the rap rock fusion, which was definitely kept to a minimum on that album, but Shinoda is really spitting fire on this one. That guitar line from Brad Delson gets everybody fired up. Just rap and sing along, especially as Chester gives that gripping vocal performance.
I don't need you anymore. I don't want to be ignored. I don't need one more day of you wasting me away. I don't need you anymore.
Fun fact for you, this was the first Linkin Park song that I ever heard all the way back in 2005. It was March of that year, and unless you count Ford, this was the first full-length song that I ever heard from them. That shattering glass on Ford breaking into Don't Stay, those turntables just kicking off, those angry guitars. I was like, what is this? I was so new to music, and I owe so much to METEORA as an album. You will see this album dominate my top 20 today. Not an overabundance of tracks, but I think there's more tracks from this record than anything else. Don't Stay has that memorable chorus, just like really everything else on METEORA does, but this one in particular just has that angry performance from Bennington, especially as he gets to the I don't need you anymore.
The eyes ease open and it's dark again. From the top to the bottom, at the top I stop. At the core I forgot. In the middle of my thoughts, take it far from my safety. The picture's there, the memory won't escape me. But why should I care? In the memory you'll find me.
Hybrid Theory was a game changer of an album, and this just perfectly showcases what that album was doing. It was getting out that fixation on anger and the angst that you feel, maybe even the sadness. And here, it's somebody who no longer cares about you, or you can't even get their attention, whether it be a parent or a significant other or something like that. And you see Shinoda being very reflective on this one, and I like that. He really gets a chance to shine here. And Chester and him trade off during the actual chorus of this thing, and it just slams hard because this song starts off so abruptly, immediately sucks you into its world. It's really a huge part of the album that you need to listen to as a full, but just a standalone track, it still kicks ass.
You're angry, and you should be. It's not fair. Just 'cause you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there.
It's inevitable on my number 16 pick, One More Light, that I do mention Chester's passing. It's something that wasn't necessarily written about any particular death other than someone at their record label, but it took on such a deeper meaning for Bennington, especially as his good friend Chris Cornell passed away by killing himself in the same manner. And then, obviously, Bennington taking his own life. The way that he sang this song live, the opportunities that he had to, like at Jimmy Kimmel Live, and some of the other shows, and just things that he did leading up to his death, it really just seemed like he knew that his time was short with the world. Even though he was trying so hard to be happy, he was still feeling like, you know, maybe I'm the one that no one would care about if this light goes out. He sings, who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. He definitely was sensitive to those things, as anyone should be, and these things shake you up inside. They turn you upside down. And this track is an absolute ghost, a haunter, and it's something that just sends a chill down the spine as I listen to it now, because you see this light acoustic guitar from Delson just layering the entire thing. It's really just that and the vocals. Nothing to distract you from the message of the song, and it is so powerful.
I kept everything inside, and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to be will eventually be a memory of a time I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Many would call it overplayed and overrated, but I say that it got the attention that it did for a reason. It's one of those legacy songs that's still holding up like 2 decades later. Sure, the music video was cheesy as hell with all those green screens, but just pay attention to the music there that's inside something that was just boiling over with frustration. Like everything that I do, it's all gonna just be shit in the end. It's not gonna add up to be anything. And I just feel their frustration on this track. It's something that set the tone for Linkin Park's career in general, just the rap rock crossover scene. And he's saying here, just, I tried so hard, I got so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter. And obviously the raps are something that most people have memorized at this point. It's a classic song and a staple for Linkin Park.
There's a fragile game we play with the ghost of yesterday. If we can't let go, we'll never say goodbye. No trace of what remains, no stones to mark the graves.
The hunting party was so fantastic in the fact that it unleashed a fury of relentless guitars, something that we hadn't seen from Linkin Park in years. In fact, I would go as far as to say this is their heaviest album that they ever made in terms of just straight out rocking and guitars, just the way that they come across with a very menacing attitude. And what I love about my number 14 pick, Mark the Graves, is how it manages to balance a bit of ambience in its intro, that delicate guitar that does get much harder, the drum rhythms that just kind of just shake and stutter there at the beginning, and then they really kick into it, and it just sees a nice mixture of really everything. And I think Bennington's voice on this one, the way that it starts off, it seems like somebody's at war, and you can get that a lot on the hunting party. You get that recurring theme. I just feel like I'm in that setting there with them, and I love that, the way that you're drawn to this song, and the way that he screams the dark, the light, and this song clocks in at about 5 minutes, but it really doesn't even feel like it's that long. It's all a part of the experience, and runtime just isn't a factor.
Talk a lot of shit and yet you don't know. Fire on the way, make you all say, whoa. The people up top and the people down low. Get down, and I'm running it like that. The front of the attack is exactly where I'm at.
The sheer cockiness and confidence from Shinoda goes unmatched by the majority of his other performances throughout his career. Not to say that he hasn't been stellar in other places, it's just the fact that he's coming across cocky here, where he's been very vulnerable with his lyrics and raps in the past. But here, it's something where you can see that he's in charge, maybe coming from the perspective of a politician. Get down and obey every word he just commands on this one. And you can see that they do a great job of layering the instrumentation with the guitars, the stuttered, the loop, the everything, and just the turntable solo from Joe Hahn at the end. It is fantastic. This song can't get enough praise from me, and if you've never really given 1,000 Suns the proper chance that it deserves, please at least start with moments like this. Another classic from Hybrid Theory right here, where somebody is questioning, like, you know, I have your back, maybe you don't have mine. But the anger felt here is real. It's something that I could vent to back in the day. I could get my rage on with, and I think that a lot of people have connected with it. It was one of the more popular deep cuts, I suppose, from this record, with a very menacing chorus, especially the way that Chester and Mike even rotated during the chorus of the track. But even the verses build upon that as well, and I love that. The slamming guitars, the turntables, just everything. The way that they combined worlds was unlike anything anybody else was doing, especially at the time.
You hid your skeletons when I had shown you mine. You woke the devil that I thought you'd left behind. I saw the evidence, the crimson soaking through.
My number 11 pick, Powerless, reminds me a bit of Dead by Sunrise, Chester Bennington's other project that he was a part of. They had a record that came out in 2009. You might know that Frank Zimmo of Sum 41 now was a part of this project, and I think that it goes underrated. I haven't spent a ton of time listening to it, but I did obviously in the past week after all of the events that transpired. And here on Powerless, you can see the betrayal. It's something that's sung about many times throughout Linkin Park's career, but here it's much more broken down, and you see an individual that's not necessarily angry, it's just that they're frustrated, and the way that Bennington sings really just parlays that into the track. You know, obviously I showed you my skeletons, you hid yours away, you kept it all hidden, and now everything is out there. I saw the evidence, the crimson soaking through. 10,000 promises, 10,000 ways to lose.
My living room watching, but I am not laughing, cause when it gets tense I know what might happen. The world is cold, the bold men take action, have to react to get blown into fractions. 10 years old is something to see, another kid my age drug under a Jeep, taken and bound and found later under a tree. I wonder if he thought the next one could...
Linkin Park's disapproval of our president at the time, George W. Bush, was heard loud and clear throughout Minutes to Midnight, especially on Hands Held High, a song about war, soldiers fighting for something, and then a leader who can't even get through a sentence without stuttering or sounding just unconfident or whatever it may be. And they're calling him out here. Mike Shinoda is just all over this one, and then the amens on the chorus is just a haunting choir effect almost that was thrown onto the track to give it a vibe unlike any other Linkin Park song that exists.
Get dirty with the people spreading the dirt. It goes.
Try to give you warning, but everyone ignores me.
Told you everything loud and clear.
But nobody's listening.
I really don't think enough people show love to Nobody's Listening, because this is a fantastic song that early on showed so much promise for them, especially as producers. Joe Hahn's scratching on this one, the sampling, it's so cool. The best way to describe this song is kind of like somebody who is just talking to a wall, I suppose. He's talking and saying, you know, but nobody's listening. The chorus is so sticky and so memorable, it gets ingrained in your head, but the actual message of the song is kind of troubling. It's like talking to myself from their newest album, One More Light. It's something where Chester felt like he was being eaten up on the inside, but he didn't have anyone to tell it to, because clearly, you know, nobody's listening. Told you everything loud and clear, but nobody's listening. I love the instrumental on this one, probably one of the best of their career easily, and it goes as a very, very underrated song.
'Cause beyond every bend is a long blinding end. It's the worst kind of pain I've known.
Whew, this one's made me sad from the start, just because it makes me think about good things, I suppose, in a way, because you want the best for someone, but maybe things are coming to an end. Maybe two people are going their separate ways. Weep not for roads untraveled. Weep not for sights unseen. And I like that Shinoda opens this one. It was something at the time of Living Things where we were still getting a little bit more used to Shinoda performing as a vocalist and not just an MC, but here he takes that power, he takes the reins, and he holds them firmly, and he guides this song so gently and smoothly. You hear the bells twinkling and chiming throughout this song, and then it slowly just leads into a crescendo, and then Bennington takes the close of the track, and he says the same thing: weep not for roads untraveled, weep not for sights unseen. May your love never end, and if you need a friend, there's a seat here alongside me.
Like memories in cold decay, transmissions echoing away, far from the world of you and I, where oceans bleed into the sky.
Oh, I don't even want to tell you my initial thoughts on this song. I was so mad. I remember it was like August of 2010. I was sitting with my buddy Nate and we were listening to the new Linkin Park song, The Catalyst, and I was like, this is dog shit. I hate this. Why is this Linkin Park? What is happening to one of my favorite bands? I don't want to admit that they're changing. But then within 2, 3, 4 years, this slowly started creeping its way up my list, and I was like, oh my god, is that song that I used to hate becoming a favorite? And now this is landing at number 7 on my top 20 countdown. That is just blowing my mind, but it's such a good song. It fits in the context of the record perfectly. At the start of the album, you saw the God Save Us Everyone, we're a broken people living under loaded gun. It was said in a female's voice. It was vocoded, and then it slowly progressed into the storyline of the record. But here, this is almost like the climax right before the messenger, obviously at the end. But this song has so many different functions. It's a multifaceted song, and it is so powerful and so effective in every single way, from the lift me up, let me go, to everything in between, the knocking synthesizers, the sampling, and just the turntables, everything on this. Even the guitars sound fantastic.
You love the things I say I'll do, the way I hurt myself again just to get back at you. You take away when I give in. My life, my pride is broken.
Forfeit the game before somebody else takes you out of the frame and puts your name to shame, cover up your face, you can't run the race, the pace is too fast, you just won't last. Yeah, that's right, your boy's still got it. He's still got so many of these songs memorized. This song was really everything to me for years, and just the chorus of it, you like to think you're never wrong, you live what you learn, and Chester is just so in your face about the anger and everything, from the little outro that has all the guitars, the breakdown, and the stuttered dun-dun-dun-dun. I think so many people have such a huge connection with this song just because it connected on different levels, just from the rap, and it's like everybody trying to force you down or to conform or to be just like what you would want them to be. That was a huge recurring theme of Linkin Park's early stuff especially, and this one was made loud and clear, the point that is.
So deep they never show, they never go away, like moving pictures in my head for years and years they've played.
If I could change, I would. Take back the pain, I would. Retrace every wrong move that I made, I would. If I could stand up and take the blame, I would. If I could take all the shame to the grave, I would.
My number 5 pick is Easier to Run, once again from METEORA. This is a much more heartfelt song than what they have been doing for the most part up to this point. We had seen like the bonus track My December, but this is something that slows it down a bit, and we get into that just kind of mindset of being guilty, feeling shame, and for something that maybe you didn't even do. Chester Bennington and Mike are both excellent on this one. If I could change, I would. Take back the pain, I would. Retrace every wrong move that I made, I would. They want to undo all of these mistakes, but instead of that, they know they can't, and they're gonna have to live and deal with this, so they just run in the opposite direction. I love everything about this song, from its obvious lyrics that I do praise obviously to this day, and then the drumming. It's so fantastic and stand out on this one. Even the guitars, the way that they elevate this song with its slow intro, and they slowly just rise into the mix, and they take over the song in a way, at least in terms of the instrumental background.
Guilty of the state, too sick to be ashamed. You want to point your finger, but there's no one else to blame. You're guilty of the state, too sick to be ashamed. You want to point your finger, but there's no one else to blame.
You should have seen me on the day this came out in 2014. I was practically falling out of my seat, so excited. I love this song so much. From Rakim and Mike Shinoda and Chester Bennington, and that epic guitar intro and the drums, the thrashing and everything. This is like the most punk rock metal leaning statement that Linkin Park had made in a very long time. A bold first move on a major label for their new album, The Hunting Party, at the time. This was the representation of what they were going to do, and this is like a supercharged kick in the ass. Everything that Linkin Park needed to rejuvenate themselves back into the world of rock and roll music. Now, obviously, they didn't stick with that theme for too long, but I love that they ran with it, and this song is so damn perfect. Seriously, it doesn't get much better than this. Everything about the song, just the lyrics, the way that they're calling somebody else, you're guilty just like I am. We're wearing the same shoes, the same outfit here. We're guilty, we have the same sins. Now stop trying to act like you're not. Chester screams on this one, the rap from Rakim. Everything is perfect. Another classic rap that you probably have memorized here from Mike Shinoda. It's Faint, clocking in at number 3. I don't need to say much about this one because it is such a staple of their set list that they play live, their catalog in general. It's a famous song, but just everything. The screams open your eyes and ears, and just the musicality in general. It's something that just livens you up, makes you want to move, but at the same time you don't even realize it. It's cathartic because you're releasing these emotions of anger that you feel. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored.
All you've ever wanted was someone to truly look up to you. And 6 feet underwater, I do.
I talked about my number 2 pick, The Little Things Give You Away, in much more detail over on my SOS episode that I did on Beyond ARTV. I did underrated Linkin Park songs, and this came in at number 1 on this list. And I've honestly surprised myself at this point the way that this song has crept its way into my heart. The criticism of our leader at the time, the President George W. Bush, is felt once again in the wake of the Katrina hurricane disaster, everything that's going on there with the flooding, and it has this haunting melody about it, just the way that it kind of slowly starts, and then that guitar, it's almost creepy, the way that it works in so slowly. The levees are breaking. All you ever wanted was for someone to truly look up to you. Now 6 feet underwater, I do. All of these souls that were lost, trapped, and just had a leader that wasn't helping them in the way that he should. This is what they are calling out. This is what they are singing about. And this song is beautiful, horrendous, and just magical all at the same time. It's everything that I could want from Linkin Park, all made into one like 6+ minute song.
I don't want to be the one the battles always choose, 'cause inside I realize that I'm the one confused. I don't know what's worth fighting for, or why I have to scream. I don't know why I instigate and say what I don't mean.
We're finally here at my number 1 pick, and this one is definitely difficult for me to talk about. It's called Breaking the Habit, once again, from METEORA. This is a song that is so somber in a way because you know what's going on, you know what it's talking about, and it is in fact talking about suicide. And it's kind of haunting and chilling to me in the sense that this has been my favorite song for so long, and this is now how Chester Bennington, the leader of this band, ended up taking his own life. And that is, it's tragic, and it's something that kind of gives me shivers whenever I listen to the song, because it's almost like you're listening to the ghost of someone who has left this world, but they're still here talking to you, communicating to you, and almost begging and pleading to you in a way, like, I need help. You know, people are all saying, you know, you're safer in your room. You don't need this, you don't need help. You're not gonna start up again, it's okay. And now Chester is singing on this moment, I don't wanna be the one that's instigating. I don't know why I do this. I don't know why I feel this way. Please help. I know this isn't the right way to be. And on this track, I see nothing but a plea. And yes, maybe it was written from somebody else's perspective at the time, but you have to admit that his experiences and demons that he battled in life probably played an influence. I love the way that the guitars are just kind of looped on this track, kept to a minimum, and I think that the main thing that you focus on is the lyrics and the vocals. They are stuttered a bit in places, and I love that. It has almost like a cinematic tone to it, and if you watch the music video, which is animated, and I highly recommend watching it, it's almost like a suicide in reverse, and it's very, very hard to watch now. Well, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing my top 20 Linkin Park songs today. I was gonna put out a different top 10, but I'm going to delay that for about 2 weeks. I think it's gonna be my top 10 Nirvana songs, but I wanted to go ahead and put this one out there just because I had been meaning to, and it just seems like a proper final video that I'm gonna be doing on Linkin Park for quite a while, I'm sure. So anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of my list in the comment section down below. Let me know maybe your top 20 or your top 10, whatever you'd like to let me know in the comments section, and leave your respects for Chester there as well. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, and other than that, yeah, let's cut to the outro. If you're able to support me on Patreon, it does help immensely. Please click that link over in the corner of the video there. Click or tap, it'll take you over to my Patreon page. Even if you're only donating $1 a month, it seriously helps out. If you want to see all of my Linkin Park themed videos, click that annotation right here, or a recent video that I did, click right here. Socials in the description, and I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV.